You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. So good evening, good afternoon, good night to all of you who are watching. Thank you so much for connecting. I see all of you are already so smart on your phones, on your PCs, ready each time we go live. Thank you so very much for being here. Tonight, we want to show to you the Pan-African Daily TV statistics, but I first of all want to ask, how are you all doing? How did you pass your weekends? How is the family? How is your work life? How is daily life? Is everyone okay? Everyone healthy in your families? Are we getting okay with one another? Thank you once more for joining us. This conversation tonight, we want to focus on the statistics of the Pan-African Daily TV since its initiation. It's very important for us to understand if we are on track, if our work is actually reflecting the vision that we created, the purpose of the vision of getting more united. Our sessions and our conversations, our teachings, our lectures actually reaching its target. How have we grown in this short period, in less than 2 years? What are the statistics? What are the countries that are following the Pan-African Daily TV? What are the age groups? Where are they watching Pan-African Daily? All of us from, sometimes we always tell you we're connected live, we are followed live, we have millions of viewers and stuff. So it will be really necessary for us to break it down and show you the facts of our work. All of us, including you, your families, all what you've been doing to support us. I want to bring it down to you. What is the purpose of these statistics? The purpose of these statistics is for us to analyze where we are, where we are going to, what is it that we can do much better. Okay, I mean, we have a vision of a one Africa that is united worldwide. We have a vision to empower our young people. We have a vision to connect us worldwide for our unity and our development of the African. So are we actually achieving that target, or we're just here creating content and just talking every day? Are people actually listening? Where are they watching us from? How interactive are they? Which are some of the videos that have caught the attentions of so many? So Patrick Kasirim, our consultant on the Pan-African Daily TV, social media platforms, trainer, coach, mentor, and analyst, is here tonight to actually show you the facts and data. So when we say we are the latest and the fastest growing, it is not a joke. When we say our work is actually getting to the point, to a vision, it aligns with our vision, then we have to prove it. We have to show you the facts and the statistics. So I want to thank all of you. It's a celebration moment. I mean, when we went through the statistics, Patrick and I, we were really, really shocked and amazed to see that, sometimes we don't even believe in the vision of a united Africa, but Pan-African Daily TV is actually giving us the more reason to continue to work, the more reason to continue to gather, the more reason to continue to focus on the work that we have been doing. Anyway, there's been a lot going on. You see, yesterday we couldn't come live. Before I give over the platform to Patrick, who will be analyzing, showing you the data, telling you how it started and how we are now. I first of all want to apologize. Yesterday we couldn't come live because we had a very lengthy conversation. Guess who is coming on the platform next week? Professor PLO Lumumba would be our guest next week on Tuesday, the 5th of April. I'm sorry, 5th of April. Professor PLO is going to be here with a lot of information. Remember, it's been almost, I think, 6 months, Patrick, that we haven't had him live on the show. And so, yes, he confirmed to us that he's going to be here on Tuesday. So please save the date because he has a lot of baggage a lot to inform us all through what has been going on, their petitions to sign, why the petitions, how is the continent actually federating. So thank you all of you that are watching. I'll go back to studio. Patrick, how are you doing out there, my brother? How are you? Thank you so much for your work. I saw your trainings and everything, but I think you actually tell us what it's all been about all this while. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. And first of all, I'd like to thank you, all our listeners, and all those people who are watching us from around the world. I'm very, very grateful for what you are doing for us here. And we appreciate every moment that we make and every initiative that we make, do to ensure that we make this Pan African Daily TV one of the fast rising platform on in our continent. Yeah, so very thank you, and I really like to appreciate you all.
Thank you, Patrick. When you look at the statistics, as you
Yes,
went through the analyst or analyzing the fact,
yes,
what would you say from the beginning up to now has been something that you say, yes, that's why we should stay on? How do they look like?
yes. So far, so good because first of all, if I can relate from a statistic point of view, you'll discover that the graph is rising. Ever since we started Pan African Daily TV 2 years, almost 2 years ago, during the advent of COVID-19, this pandemic. In fact, the COVID has been of very significance because on our side here, we have learned how to utilize these platforms to make uh, the communication and even to spread this Pan African story across the world. So far, the graph is so very positive. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate you for making this happen. It's through you that we make these things happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But imagine,
Yes,
even through,
yes,
even if I had the possibility, but without your support, Patrick, a lot of
yes,
things would not have gone right. I really, first of all, also thank you because even though we started at a very small level, you just came in and said, Dr. Susan, I want to help you. I'm here for you. This is what I can do. This is what I can do. I never even had an idea how to create a viewership that would, everything. You just came in like and you started doing it and doing it. Now, did you first of all create some of these platforms, or you just came and you got engaged in the work? And how are the stories being viewed across the continent, everything that we're doing here? What other platform can you compare and say, no, I mean, we are really growing? Because you manage a lot of platforms, isn't it?
yes. If I can say for honestly, because I started this online managing all these social media platform almost 7 or 6 years ago. So
Mhm.
that's what really made me to have this confidence in running the platform because it gave me all the skills on how to run this social media platform. You can see I already have, before we started the platform, the Pan African Daily TV, I already had almost 3 platforms. And
Mhm.
then I had, during that period of time, you remember, I had also been managing Professor PLO Lumumba
Mhm.
platform. So it was very, very engaging. And you remember the first day we streamed live on Facebook. You are contemplating using your profile, and
Yes.
that's what when I told you that for the best viewership to attract a lot of audience because the account is very limited. So the best thing here is to create a platform, and that's when we started that journey. And within 1 week, we already had almost 10,000 followers in 1 week before Professor PLO Lumumba was invited to share his uh, uh, information. So it was very, very exciting. Then something happened. You remember, after some few months, then our platform, because due to its fast growing state, because people were so very excited, they were sharing in their groups and everywhere. So we suffered some form of restriction from Facebook, and they really, uh, we really suffered because of the suspension and even being disbanded for that page. So it was very painful seeing a page with almost 45,000 followers going uh, immediately. So I was so very shocked for the first time, but we never gave up. So we moved to YouTube, and that's where we started our conversation. And then when we tried to create another Facebook account, Facebook were very, very keen, especially they use, I don't know how they usually use this technology to detect another platform. So
Mhm,
they disabled it immediately. That was in 2020
mhm,
August. So it was very also very painful. And I remember how you are so very depressed, so very disappointed. You never wanted to us to use Facebook. So that's when we came up with the AfroWorld.tv, so that we use the AfroWorld.tv to share our own story, because Facebook is quite very vindictive. The community standard there are very, very oppressing. So uh, and through that kind of challenge is when we created the AfroWorld.tv, and I'm very sure most of our audience are able to join that platform, share their ideas there. Then we engage, because the AfroWorld.tv is the same as Facebook. So
mhm,
uh, that's the best idea that we did. And we can also share the AfroWorld.tv on Facebook, because this is something that was created almost 20 years ago. So it's good that we move, we continue to share this platform, so that we get more audience from Africa and even around the world. So this will help us avoid that kind of restriction. When we share our Pan-African stories, we share it with a lot of confidence. Unlike now, there's too much restriction almost everywhere. Suspension. I've suffered a lot of suspension, and even from my account.
mhm,
I'm praying that maybe in future they won't suspend it, or they won't disable it because of the too many suspension. But so far so good. If you can see from our YouTube channel, I think it's growing so very positively, and even our Facebook account, the Facebook is approaching almost 500,000 followers. So that's a plus, and the audience are very engaging, even on YouTube, almost everywhere. So this is the best thing. And first of all, or secondly, I thank you, our audience. You are the one who made this happen, because you are the organic audience.
mhm,
You felt that this is the only platform that we can share our own stories, a real story, raw stories, without trying to fake it or trying to distort it with more information. So that's the best thing that we can appreciate, and even we thank God for that.
mhm.
Yes,
Actually, Patrick, I like what you said about organic.
yes,
You know, most of this
yes,
platform, it didn't dawn to me that people buy fake views or people
yes,
buy fake subscription or people
yes,
buy. I never ever thought about something like that until, you know, when we went through the analytics. Because imagine if we had to
yes,
do all those type of things. We decided from the beginning, just as organic as Africa is and Africans worldwide, there's
mhm,
nothing to fake about here. There's nothing to
yes,
buy for whatever reason. We just did our work
yes,
passionately, and we never had anything, any idea of trying to fake anything or create anything.
yes.
Would you just want to go back and share the statistics with us, so we can begin to appreciate our viewers, and maybe even start giving some awards here?
Yes, it's so good, because we need to share results, because in times of examination, because this is just a real life examination. So after that examination, we show results, and this is the results that every audience who participated in the growth of Pan African Daily TV will wish to see how their countries, how the continent is performing, how those in the diaspora are performing, because uh, this will make them feel motivated, and they can continue to share and invite more followers or more friends to listen to our Pan African stories. Yeah. So yeah,
Good.
maybe yes,
Yes. You want us to
yes,
put the share screen, or
yes.
you can
It's
click
already
on your
on.
share screen and let's see. Yes.
Yes,
I mean, it's very exciting for you, my audience. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying, I'm watching from the UK. I see those that are watching from Brooklyn. You're so excited from California. Victor is watching, and all of you that are joining. So let us know where you're watching from. And because today is kind of like a challenge, it's kind of like a competition. We want to share with you where our viewers are coming from and what actually are the videos that they've been focusing on. I see Mary Lomon from Trinidad Tobago. I think you're also on the statistics as well. Nobody is left out of this conversation tonight. So over to you, Patrick.
Yes, I don't know if the screen is on
Um,
from their side.
no, hold on.
Yeah, maybe if they can, it's already on. So
Yes, I think he has to bring it in. To
yes,
me,
yeah. So as we wait for the conversation, you'll discover that
yes.
yeah, this statistics starts from 17th April 2020 up to date. That's 29th March 2022. And we have seen a lot of growth, intermittent growth, very positive, very people interacting from around the world. This is so very encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be able to see the geographical location where our
Okay.
audience are. Yeah, we'll be able to see the viewer age. Yeah, because the age are also very important because we'll
Delicious.
wish to see uh, who are these people listening to our audience, to our conversation. Because
Okay,
uh,
your screen is
yes,
on.
okay,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So, so if you can be able to say from geographical point of view, the first country that is also in a very competitive mode, you'll see United States with over 1 million views,
Wow.
very over 1 million views. This is so very strange. I'm very sure there are some videos that really motivated our audience from the United States to see, especially during, you remember the story of George Floyd. We
Mm-hmm.
really shared that story. We discussed, and that kind of solidarity from the US. They wanted to see if this story is being shared almost everywhere. So whenever they see the information uh, being shared on our platforms such as YouTube and even Facebook, they feel so very motivated. That's the first column where the United States is leading. Uh, if we can move forward, secondly, to South Africa, I think the second country here is South Africa with the
Mm-hmm.
643,758. So this is so very positive. And you see, South Africa is almost leading almost everything. I don't know why. Is it the population? You can see uh, from the population, the industrial growth, uh, the economic growth, South Africa is leading. So even the way they consume the information from Pan-African Daily TV, it means that they are more Pan-African also. Yeah, they want to feel the effect from this call, the unity call. So this
Mm-hmm.
is so very positive, and we appreciate it. And we also thank those our audience from South Africa for making this a success. Bishop Maponga Joshua is also one of the leading uh, promoters of this conversation. So most of the South Africans wish to see how the Maponga and other leaders like Rutendo and other leaders, young leaders, uh, sharing their information from their own perspectives. So it's so very positive. Then number three, we have the United Kingdom, which is quite very positive. The almost a half of South Africa, that is 395,316. So that's very positive. So United Kingdom, you can see it's performing so very well. We have those stories, especially the issue of uh, discrimination and other things, and also stories about the Congo, because you discover that most of these countries in the United Kingdom, they're the one who colonized Africa. So any story that emerges from Africa concerning the United Kingdom, people wanted to listen to see how Africans are feeling. those people who are in the diaspora living in that countries, they want to see how Africans are sharing their stories. So there's that kind of connectivity. Another country is Kenya. Kenya is performing also very well. That is 209,000, very positive. Uh, Kenya is also, because I'm also from Kenya, and I'm very sure maybe I might have shared some of my these links and even uh, there with our audience there in Kenya, and also some of our audience here from Kenya. So that's so very positive. So what I like to encourage our audience is to make sure that ensure that more of your audience from your countries are here in here, so that in case we watch a story about your country, you feel more and be very part of this conversation. Because if, for example, we share about story emanating from Nigeria, so very many Nigerians will feel very comfortable saying that, you see, we are discussing about the story from Nigeria. Yeah, like, so the number 5 is Nigeria. From up follow from Kenya, here we have Nigeria. I think the reason behind Nigeria is because you remember the protest that happened in
Yes,
is it
the
2021
NSAS,
or
the
yes, the
NSAS
NSAS.
protest.
Yes, yes, that protest, we shared that story and it was very positive. So most Nigerians wanted to see what the world is feeling from their own perspective. So it's so very positive. And then we have Zambia. Zambia is following. I think one of the reasons for Zambia for this growth, you remember how we shared the election process in
Mm-hmm.
Zambia. Yes, you remember the Lungu, the current president. So during, we shared how the transfer of power, the leadership, and how the economic situation in Zambia and everything. So that kind of conversation really motivated people to join. And we have the most audience from YouTube who also shared these stories. Then we have Canada, which is also performing very well. Canada, we have Ghana. Also, Ghana is performing very well. Then followed by Germany. Yes. So you can see Germany, Ghana is 72,000.
Mm-hmm.
Then followed by Germany, 67,000. So it's slowly dropping. So what I like to encourage our audience from different part of the world, they need to invite more members from their country so that they can listen more. They can even chat from the comment section. Yeah, they say, oh, I can listen to my own this own followers from this country. We can also communicate in our own language in the chat format, and then
Mm-hmm.
they agree and all these things. So we encourage more members to join from different countries. So another one is Uganda, from Germany. So Uganda is 58,000 viewers, or those people view some of this conversation. You remember how we tackled the election in Uganda, the
Yes,
Bobby
yes.
Wine, the Museveni. In fact, most people thought that maybe Pan-African Daily TV is based in Uganda. And we saw, because the country there, the President Museveni decided to block the internet. So
See?
most of our audience relied on our platform to get more information from the ground, because they use this VPN. So it was very positive, and that's
You.
good, because the more we get more information from these countries, the more we strengthen our Pan-African story. So it's that very positive. Then after Uganda, we move to Tanzania. You see, Tanzania is very close with Uganda. Then, so Tanzania is 57,000. 57,000. So that's very positive. So the reason behind Tanzania growing, despite their language, they are very pro Swahili, and then they are following this conversation. It means that there is that kind of connecting with the African societies, and that's very positive. You can see Tanzania. We last year, was it during the untimely death
The
of
Magafuli. Yes,
Magufuli. Yes, we really shared
yes.
that story, and it was very memorable. And you can see very many people were so very passionate about that event. So That's why the late President Magufuli still remain part of our discussion, because he's one of the ancestors, those Pan-Africans who really ensure that we Africans relied on what we consume, what we should consume more. So that's very positive. We shall continue preaching about the what Magufuli did for Africa and even their own country. So that's very positive. Another one is Jamaica, and this is so very strange. You see,
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica are performing very well, 54,000, very, very positive. So it means that there's that kind of connection between Jamaica and even Africa. So that we are trying to create that unity through this digitalization. So apart from moving from one place to another, we can still communicate through this medium. So it's so very positive. So another one is Zimbabwe, 48,000. So very positive, Zimbabwe. We have, they're followed by, I think for Zimbabwe, maybe you remember the Rutendo. Rutendo is
Mm-hmm.
a very positive activist who wants to ensure that the sanction that's being placed in Zimbabwe is being lifted. So most Zimbabweans want to ensure that their country growth both economically and even in terms of unity. So that's very positive. Then we have Namibia. Namibia is also following so very fast, 39,000. Very, very positive. Yeah. Then we have
Trinidad, Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago. So that's very good. You can see they're still following very closely. Yeah, even better than those in the continent. So you can see Trinidad and Tobago, 32,000. We have Italy. Imagine Italy. So it
Mm-hmm.
means that we have very many Africans in Italy, or those people who are so very Pan-African, or following our
Mm-hmm.
conversation from Italy. So that's very positive. Then we have Ethiopia. Ethiopia, that's 30,000. That's very positive. Then you have even Australia. There, we have Australia with 29,000. We have Netherlands with 27,000. Um, then we have India. India is 26,985. So
Wow.
that's good. That's good. You can see Indians. So if we can connect, we have in Africa this Pan African uh, uh, individuals in India. So that's very positive. So we are connecting this the whole continent through this conversation. So we have also Botswana with the 25,000, Sierra Leone with the 23,000, Cameroon 22,000. So we need more of, especially Cameroon, because you remember the president has been there since even before maybe we were born. So we need to have some kind of change. We try to break that barrier. So for Cameroonians, they need to subscribe to this platform so that we get more information from that country. So, and one of the reason why maybe most people from West Africa that are not very active here is because of the language barrier. Maybe you remember they are being
Yes, the
colonized by
French.
this the
Yep.
French, so they prefer getting information from that French-speaking nations. So, but we'll try as much as possible to ensure that we get this uh, language. Maybe as we move forward, we will try to see how we can try to engage them. So then another one is Malawi.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Malawi is 18,000. You remember during the advent of President Chakwera, very
Yes.
positive. It was very, very, very Pan-African in nature. So that's quite very positive. Then United Arab Emirates. Yes, this is so good because we have those people who are living in the United Arab Emirates, and they are spreading the Pan African stories. We have those people who are from the continent who are working in United Arab Emirates, and sometimes they try to share their plights, like the suffering, the mistreatments. They are being so maybe they want to hear what's happening, how Africans are feeling them. Maybe we discuss that issue so that we try to remove that kind of suffering when they are working in those regions. So it's also very positive, 16,000. Then we have Rwanda. I think I wish that Rwandans, we have more Rwandans here, because we have always uh, very passionate about this, what is currently happening in Rwanda. Maybe something is not happening there. We may not know, maybe because or due to the population, the small population in that the region. So we have 16,000. So we need more people from Rwanda so that we get more information from that place. Yeah, we always listen to President Paul Kagame and how he's trying to make sure that that country growth in terms of economically and even uh, unity of Africa. So that's very positive. So we need more for Rwandese here. Then we have Rwanda. This is so very strange. Not Rwanda. It's Russians. Russians. So Russians. You can see. I don't know why Russians are following this conversation. Is it because maybe you have very many Africans there, or those people from African descent, or they are so very passionate about Africa? Because you can see what's happening, yeah, even currently between the Ukraine and even Russia, that war. So maybe as these people from the African descent should learn from what's happening there. So we take some positive notes, and then we try to see how we can unite in that matter. So then another one is Papua Guinea, New Guinea, Papua New Guinea. That's 12,000, very positive. Then we have Eswatini with the 12,000 also. Then another one is France. France, that's 11,900. Then we have Liberia. So we need more Liberians here. You remember how they really struggled from that place. Yeah, so we need more Liberians here. Philippines, also Philippines are here. Then Southern Sudanese. So I don't know why Southern Sudanese are not very active here, but that might be one of the factors here. Maybe it's due to internet, maybe connectivity and something. Yeah, so we need more of them. Then Mozambique, 10,000. We have the Gambia with the 10,000. Also, that's the home of this
Usman
young Pan
Ture.
African, Osman Toure. So maybe if Osman Toure is watching, we need more of them here, because he lead by example. Even uh, you see, Gambia is one of the countries that promote also Pan Africanism. So it's so good. So we need more of them here so that uh, we, we spearhead this initiative. Then we have Sweden, 10,000. We can see very, very, very competition here at the bottom. Then uh, Guyana is 9,000. We have Spain, 9,000. We have Barbados, that's 9,000. Then Somalia, that's 8,000. Saudi Arabia, 7,000. Malaysia, 6,000. Fiji, that's 6,000. Ireland, 6,000. Then we have New Zealand, 6,000. Lesotho, 5,000. Bahamas, Bahamas is 4,900. Then we have Belgium, that's 4,700. Saint Lucia, I don't know. Saint Lucia is in which
It's
Caribbean?
in the Caribbean.
Yes, Saint Lucia performing very well. I remember we shared a video showing how these indigenous people are dancing to their African yeah, culture. So that's very positive. Then closing the top 50. So we can't read all the 500 results, but closing the top 50 is the Ukraine. And this is so very strange. So you can see Ukraine is is struggling to make sure that it's part of this conversation. I don't know why. Is it because we have Russia there, so that they are convening to ensure that maybe they are part and parcel of this conversation? I don't know. but that's very positive. So generally, we congratulate you for making this happen. Those people in the different part of the world, if you have not we have not mentioned your country, so you need to be uh, very sharp. Ensure that we get more of your audience from this region, so that we appear at the top 50. So these are the top 50. So, and I'm very sure we have other countries who are above 50. I'm very sure about that, like the Congo, like these countries of Senegal. So most of these West African countries and even North African countries like Tunisia, Libya, Egypt. So these are the countries that we need them here, because they're at the bottom of this chain. Yeah, maybe that's the part of under geographical location. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Patrick. Someone asked a question here.
Yes. Yes.
And Alchemist is saying VPN can hide the true locations of the source. How relevant is this, or how accurate is the data from YouTube? I mean, because people subscribe and YouTube will give you the data. So it's like even VPN hides it, so the data can be manipulated. Is that correct?
The VPN.
Yes.
Yes, it's very positive. Yeah, it's true, because VPN usually hide the location. So maybe it
Mm-hmm.
depends with the person who is watching this conversation. Does he want it to his country to be hidden, or maybe we have some country where they are being restricted. They're like United Arab Emirates, UAE. These people usually undergo through a lot of suffering, a lot of problems. So uh, maybe they try to use VPN so that they can watch this conversation. So I'm very sure they are part and parcel of this conversation. These just top 50. We can go back to almost 500. So you can see we are also part of there. So if you feel that your country is not mentioned there, we are there, but maybe we need to increase our engagements. So far, we have 54,600 subscribers. So if we can increase to 200,000, or even half a million, or even million, our chain will increase from this. We'll have very more people at the top 50, even from around Africa. Yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yes,
Okay, I think some questions like how relevant these are. It's very relevant. It's very relevant. We're not even up to 2 years, and to get this kind of viewership for us, it's very
yes,
important that we know whether the work that we're doing here is reaching people. We sit
yes,
here and we're not just entertainment, we're producing information and education. So from time to time we have to check the statistics to see who is watching and how relevant these conversations. Why? Because we're building the Africa we want. How would we know if we are really creating impact if we don't have this kind of statistics? So yes, it is relevant. It's not a competition, it's not a popularity, or it's not everything, but of course yes, it's a popularity. We are. Who says we are not? It's not easy to get this kind of viewership in less than 2 years. So we are doing a very good job. And I want to congratulate all of you, because without your support, without you being engaged, without you sharing, without you commenting, without you, connecting to others, and we would never be. Africa should be the most populous continent in the whole globe. We have been marginalized, we have been trampled upon, and whatever thing. So if we have a media which is not even 2 years old, and we have millions of followers and people are connecting from all over, we are proud of our job. And sometimes we
yes,
need to tap our back. Our work is creating exactly what we wanted. It's not about competition or trying to meet up with some other people, but we are doing our work and we're giving you the accountability of what we do here every evening. And I think that's the right thing to do. We said it from the beginning. We have to check one another. We have to prove. We cannot be talking about growth and we don't measure and we don't call upon those people, that we are representing, to send us more stories, more guests, more conversations, more engagement from their continent, because we are not just creating content for exposure or whatever. We are connecting and building the Africa that we want. Patrick, if you look at the targets and even the age
Yes.
groups, what are
Yes.
the age groups, and how do they, what are the statistics about the age groups that are following? Because we say we're passing on to the young people. Are the young people actually following?
Yes, it's quite very interesting because I went through the statistics and it was very funny. As you can see, we want more young people to get this information
Yes.
about African, the unity of Pan-Africanism, the story of Pan-Africanism. But it's so strange that those people above that 5 years are the one consuming this information. So where are these young people? Are they very busy with the current trends, this current new generation of the internet, maybe these games and other things? They don't want to read about the story about Africa, the unity of Africa, how our forefathers struggled to ensure that we have that unity and everything. So from the statistics, you can see between the age of 18, between the age of 18 and 24, these young people are not consumers of Pan-African stories.
Mm,
I don't know, maybe they are in classes studying or somewhere, but they need to also understand the story about Africa and also
mm,
about the continent,
mm,
the black society and everything. So those between the age of 34 and 60 and even 90 are the one consuming. So what are these graphs? What does it imply? So we need to ensure even this you see between the age of 18 and 25, we can encourage these parents to make the availability of their children or their young ones to ensure that they learn more from these platforms. So by creating these social media platforms, then the accounts and everything. So once you have attained the age of 18, you can still consume this information at the comfort of your place. Even when you are studying, you can also study about Africa. You don't have to go through classes. You do it naturally, passionately. So we encourage more young people between the age of 18 and 25 and even 29 to be very engaging. Like you can see, one of the most example here is the Osman Toure. The Osman Toure is quite a very young guy between the age of 20 and 24. But you can see he's making this world very, very positive through his Pan-African conversation. He's very young, very passionate about Africa. So we need to encourage more young people so that when the old generation goes, we still have those young generation trying to take over from them. You remember you have the Professor James Small. Yes, you can see the old man is pumping wisdom, but we don't see these young people, these young people between the age of 18 and 25 consuming this very educative information. So we need more young people to follow this conversation. So if I can go through the, the viewer's age,
mm-hmm.
maybe if I can say generally, between the age of 13 and
Finish one of the
17,
videos.
between the age of 13 and 17, we have very almost to zero. It's 0.2. The reason is
Mm-hmm.
because in Africa here, or almost generally, because of the community standard, this you are not allowed to access these gadgets until when you have attained the age of 18. Maybe that's the reason behind that
Mm-hmm.
law state. Yeah, that's one of the reason I can give that benefit of doubt. Then between the age of 18 and 24, there's a sharp increase, very positive. That's a green. So 6% from 0.2. That's a very positive, but we need more young people
Mm-hmm.
to consume this information because their minds are still very fresh. They can consume more information than those between the age of 65 and even 100. So you can see from the graph here, um, uh, the those people from the age between 65 years and plus or 100 discover that they're at 12%.
Okay.
Then 12%. Then the young generation between the age of 18 to 24 is 6%. It's a half. So it means that those people aged between 65 and above are consuming more information than those between the age of 18 and 24. So
Mm-hmm.
what are these young people doing? So how can we attract them to ensure that we speak uh, the same language? We gather
Mm-hmm.
more wisdom from these people from age between 65 and above. So that's it. Should we should have a win-win situation, like
Mm-hmm.
12%, 12%. So it means that we get more information for these young people. Then at the age between 25 and 34, that's a very positive. You can see it's almost uh, 20, 20%. Yes,
Okay.
very positive. 20%. So from 6% to 20%, it means that those people between the age between 25 and 34, that's the age bracket where uh, the young people are they want to explore more about Africa. They have gone through studies. They want to make a living and everything. So they struggle to learn about Africa and every story. So if our audience are aged between 25 and 34, we congratulate them for that positive increase. So
Mm-hmm.
positive, yeah, so very very positive. Yes. Then between the age of 35 and 44, so these are the giants between 35 and 44. If you are between the age of 35 and 44, you are a true, let me say from our side, you are a true Pan-African because you consume a lot of these Pan-African stories. So uh, this is so very positive and it's at the highest chain of this 23.2. This is the highest so far. So we have more people between the age of 35 and 44 consuming this Pan-African story. So this is very positive. So we can relate you for that. Then between the
Mm-hmm.
age of 45 and 54, yes, 45, there's a drastic drop from 23, 23.2 to 20, almost 21%.
Mm-hmm.
So it means there is a sharp decrease. I don't know what could be one of the reason behind this one. So there's some quite of balance between those people between the age of 25 and 34 and those
Mm-hmm.
people from 45 years and 54. It
Mm.
means that there's a balance between the two. So what could be one of the reasons behind this one? So we'll need to discuss this one. So what are some of these reasons? Maybe we'll have to know maybe in future. Then we have between the age of 55 and 64, there's a sharp drop, but 17%.
Mm-hmm.
So from the curve, it's a is it a symmetrical curve? It's a very symmetrical curve because it increases, then it drops. That's the curve most commonly for, and especially for ages. I don't know. There must be one of the reason. Maybe is it the brain capacity or something, or
Mm-hmm.
being occupied with activities or something. So for between the age of 55 and 64, 17.7%. So 17.7% for between the age of 25 and 34 is 20. So this one has dropped a bit. Then the last one is 65 and above. That's so very fair if you can compare between those between the age of 18 and 24.
Mm-hmm.
So for 65 and above, they're at 12%. So that's not that very bad, considering their age and even the way they have very many activities, their experience, and even trying to ensure that everything is okay. So we congratulate them for that. 12%. We expect more of this conversation. So My hope is that maybe we can surpass this highest 23.2, so that we can have almost 30 or 40%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That will be very positive. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Beautiful. Good work,
Yes.
Patrick. Honestly,
Yes.
good work. Good work. Good work. Good work. Good
Yes.
work. I really
Yes.
congratulate you because,
Yes.
like we say, it's not just, we're not just here to only educate, but our lecturers and
Yes.
our guests, particularly our exclusive guests that are bringing
Yes.
us more wisdom, like the Professor James, PLO, all
Yes.
those that are
Yes.
teachers here. I mean, I
Mm.
shared the statistics with them. They were very, very encouraged and like, yes, we are working. It's like we're teaching, and you have to mark
Yes.
the exams of the students where
Yes.
they're viewing, and
Yes.
so that we also measure the growth and develop. We're not just jogging here. We're not just
Yes.
showing our faces here, but we are working. We're working to
Yes.
achieve something. Our unity for Africans and their development worldwide, where they
Yes.
are. We've seen from these statistics, even in Russia, where our
Yes.
people are. Every location in the Ukraine. I mean, it's really amazing. Patrick,
Yes.
but this is just YouTube. This is only
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes.
Imagine Facebook with 500,000 followers, because we're not even utilizing, platforms like, Instagram or TikTok, because
Yes.
we don't want those kind of, just consume message and just share it, but we want people
Yes.
that are actually learning something
Yes.
and that are
Yes.
implementing. What about that?
Yes. Yes, like for Facebook, because of its ability, Facebook has very huge following. Facebook, generally, Mark Zuckerberg has really invested on Facebook. We have billions of followers, unlike YouTube. So for Facebook, we have huge consumers of this information, because whenever they get the information, they share. Whenever they get the information, they share. They in groups and almost everywhere. So unlike YouTube, you can see YouTube is quite very conservative. You just share, you copy the link to other platform, but Facebook can still share within Facebook. Yeah, so
Mhm,
that's the reason why Facebook, even our Facebook page has grown from zero to almost 500,000. It's if you can check from the statistics, it's very impressive in the last 30 days.
mhm,
Very, very impressive from the statistics. And we are approaching in the last, let me see the insight. From the insight, you can see in the last 28 days, we are reaching millions of followers, the
mhm,
millions of followers, unlike YouTube, like YouTube. So this means that we have very many followers consuming this information on Facebook. Yeah,
mhm,
through our normal conversation. Like uh, between March 23rd and March 29th, we have 1.5 million people reached.
mhm,
1.5 million. So that means that in 7 days, that's a very positive deviation. Then, even from the information that we gather, we have some conversations that have been sharing there. People watching these videos, like for the one for Malema, the one for PLO, the one for these African leaders. When we share this information, they like it. The Pan-African stories, like the one from uh, Thomas Sangara, we have Muammar Gaddafi. Very many I've discovered from the statistics. Many followers really love Muammar Gaddafi. How I
mhm,
wish that he was alive, so that he could see how Africans are now embracing Pan Africanism. It's so very positive. Yes,
mhm,
maybe they're trying to compare what's happening between Russia and Ukraine, and
mhm,
why is Russia very positive. Uh, why is it also Africans very passionate about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, and what is the reason behind the resurgence of Libya as far as
mhm,
Ukraine and Russia is. So we have very many conversations there. Then the story about these people from the diaspora
mhm,
being blocked in those countries. So we saw very many people protesting. So it's quite very, very, very interesting. Even from our conversation here, you remember how you invited one of the victims who
mhm.
suffered that being suffering hostage there in Ukraine. So we learn as we move forward. We learn everything, and so that's so very good.
Wow.
Yes.
Wonderful. Honestly, this is great. This is great.
Yes.
Which are some of the videos, particularly on YouTube, that you can say have the greatest outreach, and why?
Yes. I from the statistics here. Um, there's this video that we shared in was it in 2021.
Mhm,
That was it it was June. Was it June, July there? This powerful Nelson Mandela interview at town hall in the US. That's
mhm,
1992. So that video has really grown very fast. The number of views is almost 1.8 million views,
mhm,
and I don't know why. Because maybe most Africans are getting this information for the first time, or they've been seeing it. How
mhm,
Nelson Mandela tried to outshine those people in the West through that very powerful interview. So very many people are still watching. Even up to now, it's performing very well.
mhm,
So that could be one of the reason, maybe the increase in the number of followers from the US
mhm,
contribute to this conversation. They see, because you remember during that conversation, uh, um, Mandela talked about the Syria, the Palestinian, you see,
mhm,
being that kind of victimized by the Israel and everything. He also talked about Libya, that close relation between Libya and South Africa. They also, this conversation revolves around almost every topic that we have been discussing. So it's very positive. Even the Cuba and even South Africa. So you can see how they contribute to the struggle in South Africa and until when they got that independence. So it's so
mhm,
very passionate. So if you have not yet watched that video, you can still search. Uh, it's there, and it's performing so very well. Then the second one is about uh, Professor James Small. Professor James Small has been very instrumental, and is one of the living legends that any African or any people of African descent should listen to, because we should also try to celebrate this African icon, because you can see he's very resourceful.
mhm,
Through his age, he has seen a lot about Africa, about the struggle from the black society and everything. So he's a very uh, uh, resourceful person. So, uh, like this one for uh, Professor James Small about why black men are targets of systematic racism. Why black men are targets of systematic racism. That's one of the topics that has been trending. Yeah. So even from you can see from our title, we have just replaced A with art, so that we avoid that. YouTube is quite very sensitive with the term racism. So we need to change so that very many people see the conversation instead of blocking these things. So Professor James Small has already outlined why black men are being targeted uh, uh, in terms of systematic racism, the challenges that are going through, and what are some of the solutions. So he also went ahead to give solutions. So he's a very resourceful person that any person should listen to. So it's a very interesting conversation there. So if you have not yet watched that part, please go there on YouTube. It's there. Watch. Yes, so it's so very interesting. Even it's very applicable even up to now. You can see how what's happening in the US between the Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
How
Mhm,
how the two black men are fighting each other, how they trying to embarrass each other as these other people are feel get entertained. So how can we avoid this kind of things, this kind of embarrassment, so and other things? So we can learn from these teachings from Professor James Small, and I'm very sure one of these fine day you can invite him so that he can discuss more about what's happening there and what's the reason behind all these things. Then another story that has been performed very well is from Maponga Joshua.
mhm,
Uh, Maponga Joshua is one of the legends here in Africa. You can see very many Africans, even those in the diaspora, people of African descent, want to listen to Maponga Joshua. He's the king. You see, this conversation, did Jesus died for Africa? A very, very emotive conversation that, it rotates around being brainwashed, how these colonial masters came to Africa and tried to change our traditional way of worshiping God. So how can we debunk this kind of these theories? So Maponga Joshua has really outlined that so very well, and that's why it's performing perfectly. So 50,000 plus, that's so perfect. Another one from Maponga Joshua, he was lamenting about Chinese penetration in Africa, and that's a very positive topic that we should focus on. Like for example, in Zambia, I'm told that the Chinese are becoming as if they were part and parcel of the government. So even here in Kenya, you can see that the one controlling the SGR and everything. So, so this is another form of colonization. They are coming very slowly in terms of economy and everything, business, but they're entering into Africa through unique ways. It's not through colonization, but it's a very soft, and a smart way of colonizing Africa. Then we also shared this story about. I think this one is trending because of Russia. The reason what's trending now, how the RT media exposed one of the reasons why Muammar Gaddafi was murdered. So it's a very good, interesting story because we need to understand those people who were still very young, who never understood why Muammar Gaddafi was assassinated. So we can learn from these happenings. Why US, why the US, why the NATO, why this UK are trying to push Russia, or try to ensure that Ukraine get their own independence in brackets. So they're trying to relate this one uh, with what really happened in Libya. So there's that close relationship between what's happening um, in Ukraine and Russia, and even the Libya. Yes, in form of NATO and everything. So it's a very interesting conversation there. So if you haven't watched this video, you can still watch it. Then another one is for Professor PLO Lumumba, uh, about the Magnification. You remember during that
Yes.
period, Professor PLO Lumumba remembered the late Magufuli in a very special way. So Professor Pilma is one of the leading legends here in Africa, whom we should embrace. He's very resourceful. So through his teaching, we learn more about Africa, how we can try to evade this kind of colonialism. So it's so very good. Then Dr. Arikana also communicating about how Africans can work, how can they improve our economy, how can put money in our pockets and everything. So she's very resourceful, and I remember there was a time we discussed how she could be one of the chairs at the African Union. So very positive. So um, other topics that really trended, the situation in Uganda, all this. Then we have another one from Mr. Osman Ture, the young Pan-Africanist, Rutendo. Yes, so we have very many of them here. Professor James Small also, uh, once against France, apologizing these African countries, Rwanda, over their role in 1994. So these are very informative topics that really trends, and is also trending. Yeah, sure. So
Wonderful.
yes,
Wonderful, wonderful. Another
yes,
conversation that I saw that was trending, I think, is because of, the statistics on there was the one with the knowledge of self. You understand? Anything that
yes,
is it has to do with our spirituality. A lot of people actually shared it. They watched it,
Yes.
they loved it as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
congratulations, really, Patrick. Congratulations for
Yes.
your work for analyzing. You know,
Yes.
this is the kind of thing that we say we are an education platform. We are not just here to
Yes.
create stories. So we
Yes.
see which kind of stories are related. Why do
Yes.
we go back to some topics? Because sometimes when we hold conversations here, we watch the comments in the chat, we watch even the feedback from our Gmail account, people asking, yeah, but what has this now got to do with Africa? Yeah, why are we talking about Russia and Ukraine? How does it concern us? You know, how does it, everything that is happening on the world concerns us because the world has
Yes.
always been about Africa.
Yes.
So there's no way we can have a conversation here with that would not implicate Africa in one way or the other. It is either they want to
Yes.
go to our continent. It's either they're stealing. It's either they colonialism. It's either slavery. There's no way we can talk about one nation on the planet without it having a correlation to Africa. Is that true?
Yeah, very true. Because let me give an example. Because you see, in the recent days, I've been sharing stories on Pan-African Daily TV page, and after sharing these stories, I go through the comments. I used to see multiple reaction, divergent views. If you share stories about Russia, we have those people who are very comfortable with that story, but we have others, those who are feel that maybe we are not very sensitive with what's happening in Ukraine. Then if we share about stories about Ukraine, then they try to brand Pan-African Daily TV as the Western puppet, or the project of the West. So we have those kind of divergent opinion, but we accommodate them. One of the reasons why we should accommodate them, those people who are giving divergent opinion, is because they don't want to learn. The best thing, we learn from these other people's mistakes. So what's happening in Ukraine should be a lesson for Africa. We learn from what these happenings. We don't have to shout or to sympathize with Ukraine, or we sympathize with the Russia. We as black society, we need to learn from this happening. Why is it that US is so very concerned about Ukraine than what's happening in Somalia, or what's happening in Southern Sudan, or even Ethiopia, and even at this other or region, these regions that are being affected by war? So why is it that Ukraine is so very passionate that African must bend their head and listen to what's happening there? So there must be a reason behind these things. So those people who are following this conversation, they should not be so very extremist in nature.
Mhm,
We need to learn this in our own African perspective. If
mhm,
we share a story about uh, uh, Russia, and how Russia tried to ensure that African regained its full independence, it's very positive. But we should not try to vilify those people supporting Russia. They have their own ways, or their own belief, through their own understanding.
mhm,
Then we have those people who are supporting, those who are sympathetic to Ukraine, because we have, you remember, we have this Western media
mhm,
who are always pro-Ukraine because of the NATO and even the US. So those are some of the challenges that sometimes we can be fed. We have some propaganda that can be initiated so that we believe that these things are very true. Some propaganda showing that maybe the Putin, or the president of Russia, is maybe is becoming very is being overpowered through this propaganda. Then we have another propaganda from maybe uh, Russia there, showing that maybe they are very powerful. So, but the best thing here is to learn, and how can we advance ourselves? How can we ensure that Africa is more secure? Yeah, you can see some of these other continents, these countries like North Korea, they're so very prepared for war. Like you saw recently, uh, North Korea trying to test their missiles. You have other countries trying to also test their missiles, just testing to ensure that everything is okay. But here in Africa, maybe we are just there waiting. We are still in under the mercies of God. We are still praying that maybe God will help us. So we need to be also be to think beyond God and work. So these are some of the things that we should learn. We should, instead of trying to criticize almost everything. Yes.
And particularly one thing that is very important, are our people not involved in these regions? Because that's also one thing. Apart from the political scale, we are
Yes.
talking about, you saw the way Africans have been treated in the Ukraine crisis, even up
Yes.
to now. And
Yes.
and you just explained the statistics where our viewership is
Yes.
coming, even Russians.
Yes.
These are not white
Yes.
Russians that are following the Pan-African Daily. These are Africans in Russia.
Yes. Yes.
And we
Yes.
do know now, I remember
Yes.
one of the content you shared that the original blacks of Russia were black, and like we
Yes.
know in every other race. So when we are
Yes.
talking about these countries, I mean, I know all of you are watching, you're following us on these conversations. That's why we're
Yes.
producing it. It's
Yes.
exactly that point. Every race on the planet originated from the black.
Yes.
And now we are beginning to see. So when we're talking about Russian stories, it's not just the Russians that we see today. We talk about
Yes.
even the Africans building these
Yes.
civilizations. When we
Yes.
talk about Ukraine, we talk about even the physical abuse that we see going on with Africans in Ukraine. And we learn,
Yes.
and we talked
Yes.
about the other day with King Maponga, and it's like, yes, why should the white take care of our people? We are responsible
Yes.
a lot in this leadership to also provide safety and security for our people where they are. So why are we focusing just on the name and not really the content? What do you think could be the reason for that?
Yeah, maybe there's that kind of we are being brainwashed. I think that's the best time, because if we see Russia, we see that these are whites.
Mhm,
If we see United States, we might think that maybe because we have Americans there, those white Americans, we can't see there are black Africans there.
mhm,
Those who are struggling in those countries, those especially living in North Carolina there, we have very many black society there. We have people from the continent migrating there to get some jobs and also feeding their family here in the continent. So we need also to understand that we have also most of our people there. So we should not just see the white and black. If we see a country like Russia, we see only the Russians only. We have even those black society living in Russia, and they are doing businesses. And we have those students studying in those countries. So you can see the effect of this war, how these Africans were struggling to move, and how can we learn from that? So we can expound our mind and see. That's why from our statistics, if I can see here, we have almost people from Russia watching 12,000,
mhm,
15,000, not 12,000, 15,000. So very positive. It means that we have very many people. And I remember on Facebook, I saw even Russians commenting, because Facebook also allows translations. So those people
mhm.
from Russia commenting, it means that they are following what's happening. It means that they are sharing those contents. Then even from uh, Ukraine here, we have 4,000. So that's so because already have students there. So it means that we should just take this those people living in these countries, you know, from maybe Germany, from US, should not just think that maybe those people living in Germany are whites only. We have different communities, blacks there. Those in the US, those in the Caribbeans, we have very many of them. So we should not have that racist mentality. Yes, especially
Thank
those people living different in it. Yes,
Thank you very much. I mean, this is very important. This is very important
yes,
because it fits
yes,
actually in our conversation and our teachings.
yes,
Because we are saying one Africa worldwide,
yes,
and our agenda is the unity and the development of one Africa for Africans
yes,
worldwide. Now, but in
yes,
this brainwash, like you clearly put it, when we hear Germany, Africans just think only about white. When we hear
yes,
Russia, when we hear UK. So we actually are not really like focused on our people in these
Yes.
countries, their history, the genesis of what we are undergoing on the continent resulted because of the West. We just see
Yes.
white. And like you say, we see everything white, so we don't see black. And it is
Yes.
time to conscientize our minds to know that on the Pan-African Daily, when we refer to these regions, I mean, we're talking about our people in these locations and how even the political situation there actually affects their life. If you talk about like in Germany, we have 1 million people of African descent, and we have
Yes.
80 million Germans in general. I mean, this 1 million pay their taxes here. They have families here. You know, they contribute to the economy impact of Germany. If Germany is saying I'm the strongest country in the AU, and then we take whether it's 0%, 1 or 2%, are the Africans that actually put money also into this economy. So every
Yes.
economy on the continent, we cannot see it only as white. You were
Yes.
talking about America. Who built these civilizations? The
Yes.
Caribbeans, Jamaica, North Americans, West Guinea, Papua. It's all African. So we have to see black when we are on the Pan-African Daily. That's why we took the initiative to bring you these statistics. The
Yes.
statistics were not for us to show that we're doing best than any other or we're doing
Yes.
something, but our statistics is how do our viewers consume the
Yes.
education and the information that we're doing here on the Pan-African Daily. And it's very important for us. Guess what? We have also, even the continent that is reaching out now to us, ask us to propose ideas,
Yes.
for the educational curriculum for 2063 agenda. Patrick, you
Yes.
saw that message.
Yes.
How can Pan African Daily TV bring, contribute to the curriculum of education
Yes.
on the continent, for
Yes.
the Agenda 2063? What does that actually mean, Patrick? I mean, maybe
Yes.
because sometimes we think we're joking here. This is
Okay.
powerful.
Yes. If I can give an example here in Kenya, uh, after the independence in 1963, here in Kenya, we have some Africans like Tom Mboya, who was an industrialist. He managed to send Kenyans, most African, through his own foundation. You know, he was more Pan-African. You remember
Mhm,
those areas of Kwame Nkrumah,
mhm. Julius
this Tom
Nyerere.
Mboya. Yes,
Mhm,
Thomas Mboya was very, very, very young guy who was almost between 35 to 37. He died when very youthful guy. So, but he was very, very, very active to ensure that African gain independence and that self-reliance. So one of the initiative that he made, he did some he transferred almost more than 100 or 200 Kenyans to go and study in the in the Americas and even in Europe. So you can see after that study alone, we got this Barack Obama, this young guy, because Thomas Mboya is the one who helped um, the father of the current former president of US, Barack
mhm.
Obama, to go and study there. Then that history. You can see what really happened. So, and then we have very many Africans or very many Kenyans who after studying in the US or in the Europe, they came back and then try to modernize, try to improve our education system. That's what we are enjoying, and also through technology and also influence. So we should appreciate all these things. Another thing about how we should also learn from these other people who have already advanced, not through their way of leadership maybe, but how we can improve ourselves. You see, in Kenya here, most of the revenues that we receive here in the country come from these people living in the diaspora.
Yes.
That's a fact. That's a
Mhm.
true fact. And
Yep.
the revenue that even received last year and even 2020, most of them come from the diaspora. Those people who are currently living in the diaspora, they contribute a lot in the economy of Kenya. So it's through that contribution of this revenue that we can build our own society. Then we have also the studies. After they come, then we improve our our skills, how to do business and everything. So we should not just say that these people who have gone from Africa to overseas, they are being enslaved. No, we should not have that mentality. The world is advancing, so also we should also advance. And I remember recently when you interviewed Maponga, he said that Africans should learn to invest in Africa. So, and I'm very optimistic that even our Africans, those people living in the diaspora, are also investing in Africa businesses. So that's so very good. So because if we invest outside Africa, it means that we are trying to impoverish the continent. So the more we have them, the more they have skills, the better. Yes.
Wonderful. I'm
Yes.
very impressed. I'm very
Yes.
impressed with your statistics. I mean, I want to thank all of you that are watching. To be honest with you, this is powerful. If you
Yes.
imagine just in this short space of time, how many last year we saw it, or was it the beginning of this year? Dr. Arikana taking more than 300, investors, from the diaspora to the continent to Ghana. I mean, just in a short space of time, like you're talking about this, even these remittances, the diaspora is one of the biggest tool to the
Yes.
development of Africa, and we should not really neglect that, because most often we
Yes.
show only the stories how they neglected or stuff like that, and we
Yes.
forget, or we are not really focusing on the engagement. Look at even how in this short period people are going back to their roots, the descendants,
Yes.
the African descendants out here, the diasporas that we are contributing. They're the ones. You gave your statistics, 1 million. How many Americans are the one that are active on Pan-African Daily TV, YouTube?
Yes.
1
Yes.
million engage watching
Yes.
these conversations every day. I mean, how much
Yes.
can we? Don't you think we start giving some certificates of really congratulations? What do you think, Patrick?
Yes. We have the household names, as you can see here. I can see Amos Onyango there. Is there. So we have
Yes.
those people who have really started with them and they're part of our family. So we need to appreciate them. We need to ensure that they're part and parcel of our community as we move forward. So
Mhm.
your idea is very good, and I appreciate it. We can still, in fact, sharing of this information. It means that we really care for them. We should not just pump them more information, then don't want to see the feedback. This part of the feedback, they need to see from the examination, from what we are giving out, what's the positive impact. So we are trying to display the results. So it's all very positive, and
Mhm.
so far we congratulate them for making this a reality, and they should continue with this conversation. Keep
Mhm.
sharing, and I've seen very many people are sharing this conversation. Yeah, as they learn, they experiment out there, and I've seen very many young people, even below 30 years, coming out of their comfort zone. They want to do it practically. They
Mhm.
do businesses, real business. Yeah, somebody working tirelessly to ensure that they promote African content, African products, and everything. We consume our own products. That's so very good. Instead of relying in Western these other uh,
Mhm.
products. So that's so very good. The more we promote our content, the more we promote our products, the more we grow, the more we appreciate even ourselves here. Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, such a
Yes.
feedback coming from you, to be honest with you,
Yes. Yes.
from the continent,
Yes.
it's very, very uplifting. I'm so proud of
Yes.
you, Patrick, and particularly
Yes.
somebody, a village boy like me, a village girl, that you are coming from a very humble background and
Mhm.
getting engaged to make sure that you move this movement forward. We are so thankful for your services, free
Yes.
will, volunteering with me and you. Some people are already asking me, who is Patrick? How do you know Patrick? People think
Yes.
whether you're my husband or you're my brother or whatever. I don't know. Some people were so keen to, as I've never met Patrick. I've never even seen him. We only met he met me on this journey and say, hey, Dr. Susan, I'm here to help. Just tell me anything I want to do, I'll do it. And he's done an incredible job. So we need more Patricks out there. Patrick, thank you so much. I want to go to the next
Yes.
topic that we're rounding is the young executive movement that we're doing on the Pan African Daily. I mean, when we launched that volunteer, we want
Yes.
correspondents all around. And
Yes.
because, like you said, how can we engage the young people in this very? And that's why we came up with a country representatives, and we started the training. So last week's training, you,
Yes.
of course, you started the
Yes.
training and you're going through
Yes.
some modules. Can you just
Yes.
explain to the audience what we did on this Saturday and Sunday, how many attended, what was the topic, what was the reaction? And we also have some videos to share with you
Yes.
from the graduates of the first course and how long we still going to go, but they're already in the fields, reporting and sharing feedback. Wonderful, 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 Patrick. Can you just
Yes.
tell us about that program?
Yes, I think this is one of the best programs as we started the year 2022, and it's one of the progress. And once we have human resource, when we spearhead this struggle, like uh, most of our ancestors did in 1900 there. So this part of the conversation, and I like it because I remember when you came with this idea of not only recruiting but requesting people to join the journey, because this journey requires our own engagement, it requires our own selfless input. So and I like it because those who came out, they are so very passionate. First of all, the journey is very tiresome, sometimes it requires a lot of courage. So those people who have come out to be part and parcel of this conversation, we really really thank you very much. And I remember that day when we had our first conversation, it was so very engaging, and they were so very passionate to learn. That's a plus for them, because our purpose here is to ensure that we reach out to very many people, even in the villages,
Mhm,
not only on social media, because we know in Africa here we have problem with internet.
mhm,
Very few people can get this direct engagement. So if we can say have individuals in the grassroots level, we can have they can take a record of what's happening there, like what the is doing. It's so very positive. Instead of him moving around alone, we can have signals out almost out there. So representative, we have young people, or those people who are very passionate about this journey, to give us their stories. Yeah, we try to engage our local people in their own language. Then we translate them so that even those people in the diaspora, or this in the US, can see indeed we have people who are supporting this movement in their small capacity. So, like on Saturday, you remember on Saturday and Sunday we started the modules,
mhm,
and one of the reasons behind having these modules is to ensure that we comply with these social media standards. You know,
mhm,
we are living in a very complicated environment, which is not quite very favorable for Africans and even those people in the diaspora, because every platform they have their own agenda. So we have the community standards and all these kind of conditions. So how can we? First of all, we need to understand how we can we share this information, because it's in form of media, and if since it's a media, we need to understand the digital part of it. How can we stop reduce the spread of this what they term as fake news? Because not all information are fake. It depends with what the the community standards. For example, Facebook can have their own community standards. Twitter can have their own community standards. So we need to learn both of them, or all of them, so that when we disseminate this information, it becomes very, very easy for people to reach out. Yeah.
mhm,
So our first conversation, we had 4 modules. We started with the first two, the introduction, the introductory part, and it was so very positive. when I try to engage uh, the students there through questions, they were so very easy to capture or to grasp this information through questions. So it means that it's so very positive. And we also learn about the etiquettes, how we to approach our audience, because different people, they have different temperaments and even the way they react. We are trying to reach out to people who are, they have their own ways of life, their, through their character and everything. So how can we learn to approach, can we get information? Yeah, how can we also share this information so that we comply with the the international standards of media? So this will also help us avoid this being blocked. Sometimes we can be blocked uh, because of this restriction and everything, so, or violations. So the best thing here is to make our those those members who have been recruited to be part and parcel for our conversation. And it's so far so good. So next week, this week, is it on Saturday and Sunday, we try to finalize this conversation that we start to spread the gospel, the Pan-African story. So far so good. So far so,
Wonderful. Wonderful. I
yes,
also learned a lot in that training. I learned a lot,
yes,
Patrick. I mean,
yes,
when we took, the topic was journalism, digital
yes,
journalism on the on the social space, and it was very
yes,
interesting.
yes,
Patrick taught us how to dictate fake news. How do you share content? If you see a
yes,
picture that is circulating, where are the sources that you can verify before the student can post? And
yes,
how do they do verification? How do they create their social media platforms? What's the difference between an account and a page? How do you drive traffic? It was so interesting. Each training took us about 3 hours to 4 hours, but everybody, at the end of the day, all the students were still awake, and we shared very positive feedback. This is so
yes,
beautiful. Now we're
yes,
sharing this because all these volunteers, they need our support. They need our support. When we finish the modules, they will be going into the fields to report stories that would bring to us. And even in their different countries, what is it, the information and the education that will go right up to their villages? So they need cameras, they need gadgets, they need phones, and we need your support. Our
yes,
fundraising team is currently being put in place, and it's also the executive team of the Pan African Daily. I see Cheryl in the chat. I see Kofi Zuma, Johnny Boy. All of them are part Synovia. They are part of the fundraising team of the Pan African Daily TV. And so when they will be coming up to give you the objectives, don't ask question, oh, what are you doing with this? But we need a lot of funds. We have 32 representatives, and we're still more are still coming. And so they need equipments. They're doing it selflessly, but we need to also make sure that they get the materials and the equipments that they could work. Remember, we are building the media that connects us, or the stories that connect us, and we need people to work. In the past, we had all our ancestors that died really trying to work. Look at the work that Marcus Garvey could do alone.
yes, yes,
Imagine if he had that kind of support of young people. Today, our stories would have been different. Look at the Nkwames, look at the others. So now we are not just focusing on ourselves, we are putting an army out there that would carry this legacy forward. So Patrick and his generation are the ones that we give them the platform. They train their own, the youth. We call them the young executives. We are the senior executives on the board, and we have the elders as well. So it's an intergenerational work that we're doing on the Pan African Daily. We don't just only report. You see, some of us, we come here, our eyes are swollen. We are so tired because we work round the clock. If we are not teaching, we are here moderating, we are curating guests, we are posting on all these platforms that we have. Pan African Daily has multiple platforms, even the website of the news page, the TV page, all sort of things that we're doing.
yes,
So we are calling already a preparation of your mind that you have to get ready when the fundraising team would come on board. Number two, we're also going to be doing a road show. I just confirmed with Dr. King Maponga, and we'll be doing a roadshow in the diaspora and on the continent. So we're taking the crusade out of the office to the people. And we need your enormous support. Those that want to follow us on this journey, make sure you apply. Those that say, okay, I can't be there in place, but I can also contribute, to support. What does that mean? You have to invite us to your community, to your countries where you are. We plan the organizations with you, and we empower the young people there. We are not coming to tell these stories. Exactly, the country representatives will be the one that will be on the platforms telling us what they know about Pan-Africanism, what is happening in their communities. So COVID is no more an excuse where we sit here and do only digital. COVID is opening now. We have gathered ourselves. We have to take the gospel of Pan-Africanism, call it gospel or whatever, the church, the ministry, whatever, out to the people that matters. We have to go from country to country, village to village in the diaspora on the continent. I'm really happy King Maponga is coming on board. A lot of them are also coming on board to say, yes, it's time for us to go. We see missionaries when they came to Africa. What were they doing? What were they doing? How do we find all these other systems on our continent? They worked day and night. They put it as a form of a gospel, and they went from village to village, community to community. So our own engagement is the love for one another. What is it difficult for us to go out now and preach that gospel or that message? So we need your support. We need a lot of funding to be able to carry out this engagement. So I'll give it back for Patrick to conclude, and later on we're going to share some of the videos and the feedbacks. I mean that the students that attended actually went out to the fields, throw out some videos out there. Just in the first two modules, what happened? You could already see. A lot of them are divided. Patrina was already here, the coordinator of the young executives, and he already explained a lot. We already did some testing. You saw young people that came up live and just could speak in their language and also in English. Those were all testings. Throw them and let them fish and let them swim for themselves. And you saw how they performed so well. We cannot give up on our young people. We cannot think, oh, we need to be at this stage before we move. We must do things differently. If we say we are handing over to the young generation, we have to be serious and we have to do it with discipline, hard work. It's not just talk, but going down to the field. If you are not on the field, you are contributing. We need a lot of funding. You know it. There are people that have proposed that are non-Africans that want to support, and we say no. It is time for us to build our continent, and we know we are able. We know that we have the resources. We know that we have the manpower. We know that we have the brains and the talent. What is stopping us? What is stopping us? We have to go day and night from one place to the other, educate our people, feel their presence, be there with them, understand ourselves, even know ourselves again. How long have we been disenfranchised or disunited? We talk about the continent. This is going to be an opportunity for you in the diaspora. Join us on this crusade. We're not just saying we have to invest only. We are the ones that are investing for the humanity and the development of Africa. We are not the ones that are buying plots and buying land and buying houses. We don't have anything. Our mission on earth is to carry the 12-12 Ubuntu solidarity from every part of the world. Whether we'll die on the road, whether we'll make it in this generation or not, but some people have to start it. We have 54 countries on the continent. We have the diaspora continent. We have to be there. We have to go out with the message, like the Bible message of the 12 disciples going and preaching the gospel. What gospel was that? Now we have to preach the gospel of Ubuntu, love and unity for our people. It is work. It is not just talk. Our media is practical, and we need you never than before. We're going to carry the work out into the public. Patrick is busy not only doing the trainings, he's also busy, you have seen in the past days, trying to reduce these lump sum videos that we produce here every night. More than 1,000 of them. We're getting into reproduction fast, where he cuts these videos into seconds and focusing on topics so that you could easily share. Pick these videos and throw it, whether it's on YouTube or on other YouTube platforms, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere. That is the purpose of these short conversations and focusing on particular captions that you have to understand. You can watch it. We see the influx of you watching it, but the purpose of this reproduction is for you to distribute the message as far as you can. Okay. And we are trying to avoid this publicity on YouTube where you can watch a video, particularly you in the US, without having to go through, these stops and breaks and stuff. So when we reproduce, we chop up these spaces, and so you can redistribute them. We need your support. We need the African spirit of one love for one another, unity and development. Nothing more. Nothing more. And be sure why we're giving you these statistics is to prove to you that we are not here because when you support us, we take it and maybe do something with it. No, you have to support us to work. We are here to do the work. Some people have to finance and some people do the work. There's no continent and no civilization that has been built without people investing. We're looking forward to investors, you that are watching us, rich Africans in the diaspora and even on the continent. No African is poor. Make sure you donate when our fundraising will start. We need at least $1 million to go around to support our young people. There are many of them coming on board, more than 200, 300, 1,000 of them. We need to just support them. We should stop being that African that we're only calling love for one another with our mouth. We need to put something on the table where we say, yes, our generation has done it. Okay. So I thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. But it was important for us to share this information out there. I don't know whether Tumi Tata is ready to play those videos of the feedback of the conference. While we're waiting on him, Patrick, how do you see your work? You're proud of yourself, isn't it?
Yes. So far,
okay.
it was.
Let's
conversation.
Just hold on and let Tumi play the videos, and then we'll end it because he's also busy with other things. So let's just get a feedback of what, field participants, the ones that we give them the responsibility to do the testing in the fields, to report, because they're going to be our correspondents in this space. Watch it.
Hello everyone. I want to use this opportunity to thank Dr. Susan Tata and Mr. Patrick for all the lectures they have been giving. It was mind-blowing and awakening. I want to use this opportunity to thank all of them and then all the country representatives and the journalists. My name is Robert Connie Beke, country representative from Ghana, reporting for PanAfrican Daily TV.
Sending you peace and love from Namibia. I am Petrina Shindi. I tell you what, brothers and sisters, Africa is re-emerging. We are taking ownership, and it's a very interesting journey for some of us. We're stepping forward every minute. Our ancestors said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Patrick, thank you very much for appearing. The lessons that you are giving us on journalism here at PanAfrican Daily TV are indeed tools that we need in the creation of the Africa we want. Super excited, and I can't wait for next week already. Thank you very much once again, Patrick. Until then.
Digital communication is now the world's biggest platform for the transmission of news to the wider audience. PanAfrican Daily TV on the 26th and the 27th, they commenced their training on digital communication. Those in attendance were the country representative, journalists, and interns. Well, this is the pathway that we are ready to take towards the building the Africa that we want. Eugene Duarte, reporting from PanAfrican Daily TV.
Hello everyone, this is Shao here. Thank you so much, Patrick, for coming in today to train us on the journalism stuff for PanAfrican TV. Me in person, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you next week. That was really, really useful, and given the fact that you really took your time and you were on point on all the questions and everything that you threw at us. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. Thank you, and hope to see you next week. Thank you.
Yes. Wow. When we look at your work, I mean, there were a lot, but the few that went out to say, we are going to the field, just two lessons. They could stand in front of the camera, express
Yes.
themselves, and give a feedback. How do you feel, my brother?
I feel so very humbled, and it is very, very exciting, very motivating. It gives me a lot of spirit to continue with this journey. And honestly, I congratulate them for their support, for their quest to know. And honestly, thank you very much for that very encouraging statements. I'm so very happy. Thank you.
I see you're very emotional. I'm also emotional, Patrick. I feel
Yes,
like
yes,
just like, it's to see this dream happen. It's a
yes.
miracle for us. It's a miracle. Dear people, we are also thanking you because all your support. And I want to use this minute to wish some of our March celebrants happy birthday. We've been passing on each other, but because we're really at the last day, which is tomorrow of March, we want to wish particular our board members and all the March celebrants that actually came through this year. Blessings and blessings to all of you. Kofi Azuma, you celebrated your birthday in true colors. We do love you on the Pan African Daily. You've been a very passionate and engaged Pan African in every aspect. You are also one of my advisors. At every time you bother me, you wake me up at any time with messages, you give feedback of the community, and now you are also on our executive board to support the work. I really want to thank you so much, and we wish you a happy birthday out there. We also have Tracy in the UK. Tracy is also on our senior executive board. All of you know Tracy, even from the PLO Lumumba Foundation. She's a very energetic young woman, who is actually dipping her feet and hands in the work that we're doing. And of course, Tracy was on board with us and just celebrated also her birthday this month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We wish you a lot of blessings and your support for you and your family. We do also have, as you know, Mr. Tata, the young Tata Iya, turned 18 into an adult, and he has given me the freedom from motherhood, and so we can get engaged. And you see, that's the reason why I have to start going on this crusade of bringing our love to our people, because the youngest boy just became an adult, and so gives me the permission actually to to continue the journey. So yes, thank you so very much. And all our March celebrants out there, whether we call your name or not, we want to thank you so much. We've been sharing cards, and do remember that our birthday cards from Pan African Daily is really a free gift that we give to our celebrants. If you are celebrating, it's not because we say we have to celebrate only one day. I mean, we pray for you, we engage you in the conversation and stuff like that. So make sure if you're celebrating, even if you celebrate before, our celebrations are always in the season. You remember even Tumi Tata, who turned 22, we celebrated him. He's still in this 22 anniversary, or in this year of 22. So please send us your cards, your dates, your pictures. We like to celebrate you. We like to connect with you. That's also a tool where we unite one another through our birthday and greetings and celebration, and even obituary card. If you lost someone and you really think, oh, there's a way we can do it, digitalization has given us all that resources. And on Pan African Daily, our designers that really work for us free of charge. One of them is our Indian brother, a black Indian brother in Bangladesh. He's the one that is doing all the designs that we see for our birthday, for everything. Free will, of course, supported by Afrocanza and all the others. So a lot of resources are coming on board. You can be a designer, you can be a videographer, you can be anything on this journey. We need your skills to push up the Pan African Daily. So I want to thank you so very much, and Patrick. And I'm also
Yes.
thanking Marsha Lawrence. Marsha Lawrence is also one of the elders from Dominica. We know him a couple of times here. Marshall is been on this journey from day one. He's also putting out a team of country relative in the diaspora. So if you're anywhere in the Caribbean and you want to engage, or even on the continent, Marshall Lawrence is doing that. He's very passionate about his work. He also is engaging in the conversation and does a lot. Please, what is it that we cannot do, people? What is it that we, when we come together, we can do? Everyone has something to offer. Even you just being on the chat and commenting is one of the best things, or sharing these conversations, distributing them. Do posters of it in your locality and paste it. Don't wait only on me. Just do your slogan. Do it. You ask our logo, we put it there. You hang it up in your community halls or churches or everywhere. Carry the message of the Pan-African and the Ubuntu. It is free. Let us not be selfish with this message. Let us share it. So thank you so very much, my people. Patrick, over to you to
Yes.
conclude. What are you going to be training your students on the next coming days, Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday will be module 3 and 4, and I will be talking more about how we can try to reduce uh, the spread of fake news on social media, so that we avoid our platform being disabled, or being, that ability to comply. And also, we'll be learning more about how we can manage ourselves, because we are human. How can we learn to overcome this stress? If we focus more on the internet, there's that form of depression, the attacks on social media. How can we try to accommodate them? How can we learn to avoid this kind of criticism and all that? Because social media is something that's is another, imaginary city, an imaginary uh, some form of a real life situation, but appearing on social media. So how can we avoid this kind of attacks that might even cause depression and everything? So next this weekend we are going to learn more, and also it will be so very exciting, and I am very sure our volunteers will get and will enjoy it to the fullest. Thank you. And lastly, before we go, first I'd like to also to congratulate the Pan African team, because I've really learned a lot since we started in 2020. I've interacted with very many African brothers and sisters, especially beyond here in Kenya. We can have the Obert Dube. You remember the African poet,
Yes.
the Osman Ture. We have very young, vibrant young people. Amos Onyango. We have Quado. This guy, uh, sometimes I equate him with the Marcus Garvey of Africa, because he's trying to unite Africa through one political party. It's called the African Continental Party. It's a very good and a very passionate African, and we should
Yes.
embrace this kind of conversation. And also, during that period between 2020 and 2020, we have seen a lot of positive change, like Africans trying to create their own platforms, like the Super Africa from that Sierra Leonean. So we really thank them for that. Let us create more platforms, so that in future, I believe that we'll come out of this giant called Facebook, so that we focus on our own platforms and even avoid this WhatsApp because of the restriction, so that we will enjoy our own paradise, like the Afro World, the Super Africa, then and very many other platforms where we can share our own ideas and content freely. So far, also thank the PNLO Foundation, because I've been there for some time for all this journey, and any other person who have been interacting on social media. You see, on social media, on Facebook, most people know me as a politician, but in real life, I'm not that quite very political. I'm just a very humble guy. But because politics form part of our life, so that's why we need to participate very actively. Like here in Kenya, I want to participate actively in the affairs of my country, because we'll be the one who will be suffering after every election. So we need the young people to participate actively in the affairs of their countries, because it's through these political events that
Patrick.
can unite Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Patrick. We do enjoy you. And
Yes.
yes, you'll be coming up once in a while to give us the
Yes.
feedback with your volunteers and their trainings. You
Yes.
also will be coming to give us more statistics as we grow. And we do
Yes.
love you also. And we send you enough energy out there. Please make sure that you stay also safe and healthy. You know it. You taught us about what social media is very contaminating.
Yes.
But the only thing is if we're focused on our task,
Yes.
connected through our vision and mission, nothing is going to tamper with our souls. So thank you
Yes.
so much, Patrick, for coming today. And I want to thank
Welcome.
all of you that have watched this conversation. We're going to be reproducing, as we said, and to share the distribution, to make the distribution of this channel a little bit more easy. If you have some ideas and some tools and some anyhow that you can support us in this movement for our unity, for one Africa, for Africans worldwide, please make sure you join us on this. And I also want to appreciate those that share our post on Facebook. El Hadi Ibrahim, one of the very, very supportive guys that each time we drop a flyer, he shares it. Leo Wright is also one of them, and all others that are watching here that we can mention their names. If you are not sharing the videos, you're sharing the daily flyers that we post on the conversation. This is very good. And even a lot of you that are supporting without even showing your faces. That's even the one thing that we really want to congratulate you. If we talk about two, but we see thousands watching here, it means the manpower in the background is very great. We thank
Yes.
also our lecturers, and we'll continue to celebrate them. And be aware that Pan-African would be in the Panamas from 19th to the 25th of May for the journey of reconciliation in the Panama. Pan-African is also going to be in Detroit, Michigan from the 30th to the 1st, 2 days in Detroit, Michigan. Please make sure if you're in these vicinities, you do visit us. We would like to interview you. We'll be doing a lot of interviews around there and podcasts. And we also like to visit Black businesses, banks, and communities, churches as well, to bring the Pan-African message out there to you people. So what we're calling on you is to book a location where you think, look for people in this locations and in this places out there in US who are ready to host us and to listen to the African story and to connect with motherland through the Pan-African Daily, whether they are your churches, whether they are your businesses, anyone that would say, oh, I never had the chance to meet Pan-African Daily live, please make sure you meet us. And we have a surprise. King Maponga is also ready to be in these conversations with us in these two locations in Detroit and in Jamaica, and other places that you want to, get us there, whether in New York, any place in the diaspora, will be at your availability in the month of April and May. Okay, so before we come back and start the crusade on the continent, we want to make sure that all of you are actually in the right place at the right time with the right message. So thank you so very much. And like I said, our team will be coming up and to give you the way forward and how we intend to carry further. So good night to all of you. We love you. Blessings and more blessings. Watch out for who is coming live tomorrow. I'm sorry. And keep setting your alarm 12:12. Okay, keep setting the Ubuntu love connected in spirituality 12:12. Make sure you ring the bell of Ubuntu love, solidarity, one love for Africa worldwide. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye, Patrick.
Thank you.
You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.